everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
So to be clear, I was on Instagram live here. I was not just making a random video. So I was on actual live, like people were actually watching that to add insult to injury. I got invited to Miami and she was like, just buy a plane ticket and everything else gonna be paid for. If you know, you know. So she invited two of her friends and it was just me. So it was me, her, and her two friends. So it's three of them and like one of me. They were cool though, like no shade. So next day we go to brunch and I remember her telling me that she kind of has like an attitude problem. Now, I don't really know what that means because as a girl, that kind of like falls on the spectrum. Like every girl kind of has an attitude, but not every girl has an attitude problem. And so it's kind of hard to gauge that, especially like if you're not used to having friends that just have attitudes and are like super moody, because I'm not used to that. Like I'm used to my friends, if they have attitude, they go chill somewhere else. Like they don't bring the energy over here. So anyways, we went to brunch. Everything was cool. I want you to understand that this was not like a trip where every single moment was just like terrible. It's just certain moments that I realized, that we don't align. It was other moments where I realized, certain stuff was intentional and my feelings were really hurt behind it because I'm just a very genuine person. So when this video occurred, there were like really four canon events on this trip that made me go, okay, maybe this is not like, maybe we just shouldn't talk after this. I don't know. So the first time was when we were asking her questions about, the plans. So we're at brunch. We're asking, okay, well, what's going to happen for the next few days? Because mind you, she invited us. She planned everything. She kind of popped off at us and was like, I'm not the planning friends. And like, you need to go look up yourself. And I don't really know. Da, 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 da. And one of her friends was like, okay. Her other friend was like, and I was like looking at her like, okay, like we just asking you, whatever, it's cool. So food comes out, and I want y'all to also understand, yes, we were at brunch, but nobody was drunk. Like nobody was out their mind. Like nobody was like, everybody was in their right mind in these moments that you see on the live. It was a live. I want to keep emphasizing this was a live. And before y'all ask, did she know that it was a live? Yes, because her friend who was a little bit further than me knew I was on live, and Bree was sitting right next to me. So she absolutely knew that I was on live. I don't know if that would have changed it or what, I don't know. So after that situation, her friend had basically, hold on. So her friend had basically texted me and was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. Now, mind y'all, we got there at 11:45. This is at 11:57. So there's no way that anybody was drunk. We hadn't even like really gotten into our mimosas. So she said, you okay? I'm like, no, well, yeah, but I'm cool. I'm not cool right now. She said, you want to go to the restroom? Yes. So we go to the restroom. And basically what she tells me is like, Bree is very used to people like catering to her. And that's just kind of how she is. I can mediate and like we can talk about it. And I kind of stopped her and was like, well, I don't feel like I was wrong, so I'm not going to address this. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way and, like, tell a grown-ass woman where she was disrespectful. Like, you see my reaction. Clearly, it was disrespectful. And I also want y'all to understand I'm not passive at all. I'm very confrontational. And when you're a super confrontational person, sometimes you do kind of have to give people space to come and confront you. Like if I'm always doing the confronting, I'm going to look like the villain. And also, as you can see, I have a deep voice. So women that have deeper voices, we do have to be careful about how we approach things because we come across as abrasive no matter what. So I basically told her friend that, like, I'm not gonna try to, she knows it was disrespectful. I'm gonna just sit back and kind of just see how things play out. If she don't say nothing, she don't say nothing. I'm just gonna know what kind of person she is. But I'm not about to go and like spoon feed you why it was disrespectful. She should already know that. You know, so her friend just kind of like calmed me down. Her friend was really, really cool because like she was like, I would have been mad about that too. Like, I basically saying like, you don't do that. Like, that let me know that wasn't something that like Bree just does. Like, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't normal behavior even for her. So we come back to the table. And I'm acting completely normal. Like, things snap back to normal. Like I said, we on vacation. I'm not gonna let nothing stop. You know, this is our first day. Our first day, y'all. First day. So, moving on, we have a good brunch. At this point, I think everybody started to feel stuff for their drinks. And she comes to me and she basically is like, I don't want you to think I'm a mean girl. I never thought that until she said it, but she was like, I never want you to think I'm a mean girl. I'm not mean. Like, I'm sorry if you feel like I was being disrespectful. Like, my friends had told me, like, I think you're so cool, and like, I love your music, and I invited you because like I just really wanted to like chill with you, hang out with you, like not on like some weird stuff, but on some like, you know, I'm sorry, that's not like that's not the first impression I want to give you. I didn't really like how she was like, I'm sorry if you feel, but again, it's the beginning of the vacation, so I let that slide. I was like, whatever. And I said, that's cool. Let's just be more intentional about how we're talking to one another. You need to be more intentional about how you're talking, about your tone. Like, I don't do the hand in the face. I would never put my hands in your face. I would never talk to you like that. So I would just appreciate it if you gave me that same respect. She was like, okay. You know, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's go back to the table and have a good time. So we went back to the table and we had a good time. And we went back to the thing. Now, after that, there was maybe like 2 more times where I was like, like there were definitely two more times after that where I was like, okay, yeah, which led to me like leaving the hotel super early, getting to the airport super early, not getting any sleep for like 24 hours. Like, it was I wish that my like memory of the trip wasn't clouded by the like emotional trauma that I endured. And I know that people are gonna be like laughing at me when I say that, but you gotta remember, I'm in a whole different state with girls that I don't really know like that, with like one girl who has been like picking with me the entire time. And I know if I pop off or say the wrong thing, that I could possibly get jumped or really hurt or thrown out. I gotta quick weave in, like, so it's a lot of things that I have to consider on that trip. Yeah, so that's basically what had happened after that situation. So I went to Miami with girls that I didn't really know like that. And it didn't really turn out the way that I thought it was. So now we are on Monday. We leave Tuesday. All right, so this is the long haul, right? All right, so that night, we were all cool. We were all getting ready to go to lunch. We had went to the boat this day. And to be clear, I have said multiple times, well, who's going to be calling the Ubers? Do we need to set up a system? Because for stuff like that, you need a system, you know? And she was like, no, we don't need a system. I'm sending my money to the person who's buying the Ubers. So there's no issue. I think I called the Uber like 1 or 2 times. But for the Ubers, like, I am a very high maintenance girl, right? So no one else has to like do their makeup or like really do their hair because their hair is in braids and they also don't wear makeup. So I'm always the last person rushing out of the house. I'm always the last person trying to do my makeup, trying to run out of there. So I'm not really the best person to order the Uber because, girl, while I'm doing my lashes and my eyebrows, that Uber might be pulling up. So this particular time, everybody is inside getting ready and I'm sitting out on the porch because that's usually where I can get ready at. Bree comes to me and she's like, hey, do you want to pay for the Uber? Like, I'm really glad that you asked me that because no, I don't want to pay for the next Uber. Well, why? Everyone is getting mad. Well, because I already talked to Deja. Now, let's pause. The night before, Me and her friend had ordered some food that never got to us. And we spent I spent like $20 on that. So you're going to get your refund, but I can get my $20 back. We're in a recession. You don't have to run me that, but use that money for the Ubers. Me and her already had a separate conversation, and she was like, yeah, that makes sense. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? So when Bree comes to me, basically, he's like making it seem like someone is complaining because I'm not paying for Ubers. That confused me because not only have I been sending plenty of money for the Ubers, me and Deja already had a conversation. So when she told me that, and I was like, no, me and Deja already had a conversation. And I said it just like that. I didn't say it abrasively, aggressively, with attitude. I was like, no. So I sit back down. She turns around and she kind of like, and walks away, right? And I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and just like head inside just to start getting dressed because they talking about Ubers. So I go in and Deja talks to Brittany. I was like, hey, like, you know, what did she say? Oh, well, she said she didn't want to pay the Uber because she already said $18 for food and she's not going to get the Uber. And she did it just like that. And I was so taken aback by her doing that because the conversation wasn't even like that. It didn't have any of that energy, y'all. Like, when I tell you the way I'm talking to y'all right now is literally how I was talking. So I was confused. I look at her and I'm like, that's not how I said it. And that's also not what I said. I said, Deja, me and you already had a separate conversation before. She was like, yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. And I was like, so I'm not understanding why y'all trying to make it seem like I'm not paying for Ubers or whatever. And Deja was confused. She was like, wait, what? She was like, what do you mean? She was like, it's not about money, babe. It's not about money. I said, well, she's making it about money. And she's like, it's not about money. I just feel like I need help. Like, I don't want to be focusing on trying to get ready and paying for the Uber. There are 2 other people in here. Do y'all understand? She walked by 2 of them people and came to me and basically said everyone's mad that I'm not paying for Ubers. But that's not even what you said. And she could have came to me and said, hey, like, do you mind just like buying this Uber or calling the Uber so Deja can get ready? Mind you, you did walk. There's 2 other people up in there that's chilling. You walk all the way out to the first person to me, but it's cool. Not even that deep. But it's the way that you frame things. Like, why are you framing things around money? Because, you know, on trips, that money subject can really get people going. So I didn't understand why she went back and told the girl with attitude. And then when I called it out, she was like, I don't have attitude. Yes, you do. You have a tone. Like, we weren't even talking to each other in that tone. So why are you telling her? I don't know. I felt like that was weird and very provocative. And her friend is so sweet. Like, her friend was like confused. Her friend was confused because that's not how she framed it. And me and her had already had a conversation. I went in and just sent her friend $20 extra because don't ever try to make it seem like it's about money when it's never about money. Okay, so boom. Now we're about to leave out. Now I can kind of see, yeah, this is not gonna work. Like, we're no longer like talking. Like, as far as we're in this hallway by ourselves and no one's saying anything. Like, it's very, very awkward. Like, you can tell that there's a huge elephant, you know, in the room. But I don't really feel like the elephant is me because I kind of allowed you to disrespect us like 2 times. And this is the 3rd time. It's the 3rd incident of you being weird. And now I'm saying something, and even then I'm not screaming, yelling at you. And you are clearly trying to provoke a reaction from either me or your friend. So boom, we end up going to get something to eat. And that's where her tricks is at. Her tricks is there. So dinner was awkward. Because, like, nobody was really talking. I think that everybody could kind of, like, feel the vibe. Like, I don't know. It was weird. But for the most part, I mean, I couldn't really eat. So I really couldn't eat that much on this trip because I don't know. Like, I couldn't eat, y'all. I could not eat. Like, even though it was some good salmon in front of me, I could not eat that salmon. I even took it back to the house. Like, I couldn't eat it even when I got back to the hotel because I had no appetite for half the time. So at this point, now we go to the booty club. I pull up to the booty club. Everything cool. You know, her trick, give me some money, gives her some money. And, you know, we throwing it. Then at some point, you know, I guess money starts slowing down. So they're giving it to her to pass to her friend. Do y'all not know? She gives her friend money, her other friend money, looks at me and smiles. Her friend starts to whisper in her ear, basically telling her, like, that's weird. Like, you being weird. Sorry, I had to go and like do my hair. It was looking crazy. So this is the part that I really did not want to like say because it gets me very emotional. For y'all to even understand why this was so traumatic for me, I kind of have to go back for a second. So just give me a second. And don't say nothing about my fire alarm. It's still going off. I'm black. I'm sorry. So growing up, I was a child
That's not an excuse. Change the damn battery. It's that simple.
between two households. Because I was going between two different households, I dealt with a lot of bullying, a lot of emotional trauma as a kid from women on both sides of my family. And it's really, it's a lot for a kid when you are in a different place and you're surrounded by people who you think care about you and they are bringing you down and you literally cannot leave. Like, I felt helpless. I felt like a child. Like, I felt like I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have anyone there that was on my side, and I had to think really, really quick. So it was my ego versus my safety. And it really, really triggered me during this trip because I haven't come across a mean girl in a very long time. And I know how to handle myself, but I'm also at a place where there's no one here with me. So I feel like I have to really repress a lot of emotions. And the deepest feeling that I felt when I was there was feeling alone and feeling helpless.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog, man. I had to start this off with a girls trip story. I thought this would be interesting. Not really that interesting, but I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. The ghetto bird chirping. Look, man, I don't understand why people do it. Just change the battery or go buy another smoke alarm. Some people's fire departments give out free smoke alarms, so, and they do free smoke alarm testing, and they'll give you another 10-year free of charge. So let's not make that an excuse because I'm black. It's the worst excuse ever. But anyway, because I'm black. And if my smoke detector start going off, I'm changing it because y'all ain't gonna clear me out on this thing. But anyway, friends being weird. Miami's like a death of all friends. It's like a tester for all friends. If you want to test your friendship, go to Miami. Actually, it's just women. It's not men. It's definitely not men. But there's always girls that have weird mood swings in these story times. Even, I don't know her, just by the gauge of her attitude during the story, I'm pretty sure she wasn't just giving like the best attitude back to her friend. So it's just like there was no, I think once the weird stuff started happening, then, everybody had an attitude. And to be on a trip where you're the only you only know one other person and the other two is her friends, and the person is being rude, it's crazy. It's like, I only know you. I'm only here because you asked or we talked about going on this trip or however the situation may have happened. She'll tell you one story, but the other girls will probably tell you a totally different story. You just gotta gauge in the middle of who's telling the truth. Terrible story time. Stop going on girls trips, because really, I think it's really the immaturity of most women. But then again, I've seen grown women on these story times talk about how they fell out with their sister or fell out with somebody on a girls trip, and it just don't make no damn sense how people fall out. But let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section.